Hey guys, alright? Welcome everyone. In the middle of the ocean, we see two ships, where one of them has a family and the sailor calls his two sons, Lian and Omar, to tell them a story. The characters are Aladdin, a princess, and the magic lamp. In a beautiful city called Agrabah, where people sell everything, a little monkey named Abu has the habit of sneakily taking some things without permission and delivering them to his owner, Aladdin, who then surrenders them to a guard and starts running away from him. However, they are very skilled and manage to evade him, with Abu taking the woman's necklace. Afterward, a beautiful woman gives some bread to some children when she is confronted by a merchant. Aladdin, who was nearby and saw the situation, helps her and makes a trade with her bracelet to pay for the bread. However, he is quite clever with some skills, so he pretends to give her the bracelet, but he quickly takes it back and leaves. When the merchant tries to pick it up, he realizes he was cheated and yells for someone to catch the thief. Aladdin instructs Abu to help the young woman escape while he distracts the guards. He runs through the houses and jumps over them. After a certain chase, he uses an improvised trampoline, then jumps out of a window and reunites with the young woman. They enter an alley and climb on the roofs, but end up cornered. Aladdin plans to jump with the young woman, but as he runs, she doesn't follow. Aladdin, already on the next rooftop, tells her to come quickly, and despite being scared, she joins him, as she was about to be caught by the guards. Eventually, they manage to shake off the guards, with Aladdin leaping and using a large roll of carpet, suggesting that he fell on a roof and got hurt. This concerns Abu and the young woman as they hadn't noticed it was just the carpet, not Aladdin. He reappears, and she introduces herself as Dahlia. Meanwhile, in a prison, a man who is second in line for the throne, named Jafar, arrives and is in search of something valuable, but his slaves couldn't find it. His servant tells him that he doesn't need anything else of value since he's already an important and powerful man. However, he becomes irritated by this and says that being second is not enough, that he has to find the lamp, and then he pushes the man, who falls into the well to his death. Aladdin deduces from her clothes that she works for the princess in the palace, and she hesitantly agrees. She takes out a musical instrument and plays a melody that captivates Aladdin. He mentions his mother used to play it when he was very young, but his parents died early, leaving him an orphan. A boat arrives in the city, and she says she has to return to the palace. Aladdin accompanies her, saying he's just another prince coming to meet the princess, but she asks him to prepare her. Then she asks for the bracelet back, but he searches and claims it's not with him. She becomes upset, believing he stole it due to knowing he was a thief. Upon arriving home, Aladdin discovers that his monkey Abu had hidden the bracelet and feels guilty. He plans to return it soon. Meanwhile, inside the palace, Prince Anders awaits the princess. Soon, the king presents his daughter, who, when she enters the hall, is revealed to be Dahlia, and she had lied to Aladdin about her name. She is very beautiful and enchanting. However, the prince is quite playful and somewhat full of himself. He notices the majestic beast by Jasmine's side, a domesticated tiger named Raja, and tries to play with it, but it doesn't go very well. Jafar goes to talk to the king, and it becomes evident that he possesses magical powers. He influences the king and convinces him to invade Shirabad. Right at that moment, Jasmine arrives and questions what he was saying about invading the kingdom where her mother was born. Jafar sidesteps the conversation, stating it would be good to have a Scanlan ally to strengthen their defenses. Her aging father remarks that she needs a husband to become queen and rule the entire kingdom. However, Jasmine insists she can rule alone and that no prince would govern better than her. Jafar argues that she isn't ready, and her father agrees. Jasmine leaves, feeling sad, and goes to her room. Aladdin plans to enter the palace and succeeds with the help of Abu. However, Jafar's parrot notices them entering and flies to inform his master. When Jafar arrives, he is discussing how, with the lamp, he will sit on the throne. At that very moment, the parrot yells "thief" in the palace and looks out the window to see Aladdin leaping over the palace structures. Upon entering, Aladdin manages to pose as a servant, all while Jafar observes. Jasmine is getting ready with her maid called Dahlia. When she hears someone at the door, it turns out to be Aladdin, who managed to reach her, leaving her impressed. He invites her to go out, as the supposed princess had already left. However, Dahlia arrives and, discreetly, Jasmine asks her to pretend to be the princess. Dahlia says a few things, pretending to be the princess, and then leaves. Raja likes Aladdin and sniffs him, but Jasmine tells him to leave. However, Aladdin says he will come back tomorrow and meet her in the courtyard when the moon is directly above them. He takes a hairpin from her hair and says he will return it if she comes. As he is leaving, Aladdin is surrounded by guards and, with no way to escape, he is taken into custody. The next day, Jafar brings him to the desert. Jafar tells Aladdin that he didn't imprison him because of the bracelet, as no servant would wear such a precious item. Instead, there is another reason. Aladdin is surprised when Jafar reveals that the beautiful young woman was, in fact, Princess Jasmine. Jafar tries to play with Aladdin's emotions, saying that she was just toying with him and liked to meet commoners. Jafar mentions that Aladdin could win the princess and become very wealthy, but nothing comes for free. Aladdin asks what he should do, and Jafar says they need to find a lamp. They then set out into the desert. That night, Jasmine waits for Aladdin at the designated spot, but he doesn't appear because he's about to enter the treasure cave. Jafar warns him not to touch anything except the lamp. Excited, Aladdin enters the cave and, down below, he almost grabs a jewel. However, Abu warns him not to, and they eventually arrive at a sea of treasure. Aladdin lands on a magic carpet that is stuck under a stone. He frees the carpet and it gratefully helps him. Climbing up to get the lamp, Aladdin almost falls but manages to reach the top and take it. Unfortunately, Abu is tempted by a large ruby in front of him. He takes it, and the cave's voice warns them that for touching the treasure, they will be trapped inside forever. Lava begins to flow into the cave and destroy it. Aladdin tries to escape by jumping between rock pillars, but when there are no more pillars in front of him, he falls. Fortunately, the magic carpet, still grateful for Aladdin's help, saves them. They try to escape, dodging the collapsing rocks. However, when they are almost reaching the exit, they get hit and fall. Aladdin climbs up to reach the exit and asks Jafar, who is at the door, for help. However, Jafar demands the lamp first before helping him. After he has the lamp and the guards, he begins to step on Aladdin's hand, causing him to fall. Abu tries to attack Jafar but is also thrown, with no way to escape, plummeting towards certain death. Once again, they are saved by the flying carpet. Outside the cave, Jafar realizes that when the monkey attacked him, it was actually trying to steal the lamp. This infuriates him. Inside the cave, Aladdin, reunited with Abu, gives the lamp to him. He sees the cave closing, and the carpet points to the lamp. This confuses Aladdin, who looks at it and sees some magic inside. Rubbing it to see better, he accidentally activates a great power within. Smoke pours out of the lamp, and it's revealed to be the genie. The genie asks where his master is, but Aladdin tells him he's outside. When he exits, the genie recognizes him as his master. Aladdin asks how long he's been trapped, and the genie replies that it's been about 1,000 years. He then demonstrates his powers, including transforming his face into Aladdin's. He explains that he can grant any wish, but reminds Aladdin that he only has 3 wishes and can't make anyone fall in love or bring people back from the dead. The genie insists that Aladdin make his first wish, and Aladdin wishes for them to be out of the cave, which the genie promptly grants. Now in the desert, the genie sets up a tent and turns into human form to appear more normal. He asks what the next wish is, but Aladdin takes his time and asks what the genie would wish for. Without hesitation, the genie says he wants to be free. Aladdin then asks why the genie doesn't free himself since he can do whatever he wants. Finding it amusing, the genie tells him that he can only be freed if the master who summoned him wishes for it as one of their 3 wishes. Aladdin quickly says he will help him since he still has 3 wishes left, explaining that the first wish wasn't his but Abu's. This shows the genie that Aladdin is quite clever. Seeing Aladdin's expression, the genie asks him who the girl he was in love with is, and he says she's a princess. However, the genie tells him he can't make someone fall in love with someone else. Aladdin insists they have a connection. Knowing that the princess can only marry a prince, he holds the lamp and wishes to become one, and the genie transforms him. He creates a name for him, calling him Prince Ali from the kingdom of Ababwa. The genie then transforms Abu into various animals, finally settling on an elephant, saying he needs to be a robust animal to carry Aladdin. They enter the city, and the genie creates a grand procession, attracting the attention of the people. When Aladdin arrives, everyone admires him, and the streets are filled with festivities. Jasmine, expecting to meet another prince so she can reject him, goes out, and everyone gathers in the palace to meet him. Aladdin and the genie wait for the king and the princess to arrive, and when they do, Aladdin becomes extremely nervous and embarrassed. Jafar questions why he's never heard of the kingdom of Ababwa, so Aladdin and the genie try to justify its existence, but their explanation is inconsistent and embarrassing. They then present gifts, which surprises everyone because it's something new to them in the kingdom. When Aladdin presents a golden wheel as a gift, Jasmine, not recognizing him and thinking he's another prince, asks what he intended to buy with it. In a moment of confusion, he says he wanted to buy her, leaving everyone stunned and Jasmine upset. Aladdin tries to explain that it's not what it seems, making matters worse. Jasmine leaves the room, but the king invites him to join the dinner, for which he thanks him. At night, while Aladdin is walking with the genie, they run into Jafar, who wants to talk to Prince Ali alone. Jafar claims to know him, which frightens Aladdin because the genie assured him that no one would recognize him. Jafar says he knows him as an ambitious man and offers to help him achieve what he desires. He starts using his magic to control Aladdin, but fortunately, the genie arrives and snaps him out of the trance, taking him to the party. When they arrive, Aladdin is about to speak to Jasmine, but Prince Anders arrives first and talks to her, leaving Aladdin too nervous to continue. The genie asks why he's just standing there and tells him to show who he really is, not the persona he's created. Still hesitant, the genie gives him a little push, and he approaches the princess. He apologizes for his earlier disastrous words and was about to ask her something when Jasmine interrupts and suggests they dance. They go to the center of the room to dance with other young people. Even though he doesn't know how to dance, the genie puppeteers him expertly, impressing Jasmine with his diverse dance styles. However, he overdoes it, and she leaves the room. Afterward, Aladdin talks to the genie, saying he needs to speak with Jasmine alone. He asks the genie to distract her handmaiden while he goes to her room. The genie agrees because he's taken an interest in her. Putting the plan into action, the genie arrives and hands flowers to Dahlia, claiming he's giving them to her. She briefly closes the door as if to show her happiness to Jasmine, then returns and accepts the flowers. The genie invites her out, and she goes with him. Jasmine is now alone, and Aladdin arrives, but she asks him to stay put because Raja is watching him. He says he came up using the magic carpet, but she doesn't believe him. Jasmine asks him to look for her kingdom on the map. He communicates with the genie to create it on the map, then shows it to her. When Aladdin picks up some apples he dropped, Raja recognizes him and licks his face, making Jasmine suspicious. Later, he takes her to the window and suggests going out for a bit. She's initially hesitant but eventually agrees. She's surprised when he jumps out the window, but Aladdin, on his magic carpet, catches her in midair. They then fly over the city, enjoying the beautiful moonlit mountain views, before returning to the city, which is still in the midst of celebration. However, she senses something strange in Aladdin's words and asks if the monkey down below is Abu. Aladdin loses his disguise when he responds that it's not Abu, revealing that he knows Abu. Still, Aladdin tries to maintain his disguise by claiming he is indeed Aladdin but had disguised himself as a commoner to explore the city of Agrabah, asserting that he is, in fact, a prince. Jasmine believes this, and they both return to her room, bidding farewell with a kiss, while the parrot watches from afar. Back in the room, discussing the evening, Aladdin recounts how it went, explaining that she thinks he's a prince. However, the genie tells him that one day he'll have to tell her the whole truth. In the morning, walking through the palace corridors, he is discovered by the parrot, who accuses him. He is soon surrounded by guards and taken to Jafar, who ties him to a chair by the window. Meanwhile, Abu takes the lamp and leaves with the carpet. Jafar asks Aladdin where the lamp is and threatens to throw him, tied to the chair, from the terrace into the sea if he doesn't talk. Aladdin refuses to speak, so he is thrown into the sea, with no time for the carpet to reach and help him. He ends up at the bottom and would die without urgent assistance. Fortunately, Abu and the carpet arrive, and Abu tosses the lamp to Aladdin, who is now challenged to retrieve it and rub it. Aladdin struggles to grasp the lamp, but he eventually touches it with his finger, summoning the genie, who is surprised by his underwater location. Seeing Aladdin nearly drowning, the genie realizes he cannot take him out without a wish. Out of affection for Aladdin, the genie decides to bend the rules and makes Aladdin unconsciously sign a contract to be saved from drowning. He then carries him to the room, and Aladdin awakens. Aladdin suggests they need to stop Jafar, and meanwhile, in Jasmine's room, the king arrives with Jafar, accusing Prince Ali of having flown away to conquer the city and then returning. Hearing this, and knowing Jafar isn't trustworthy, Jasmine questions if it's true since Ali is still in the palace. Entering the room, Aladdin tells the king that Jafar can't be trusted, and Jasmine says he tried to kill Aladdin. The king questions if this is true, but Jafar turns to him and uses his magic to hypnotize him, using his staff. When Aladdin realizes this and grabs the staff from him, breaking the spell, the king is freed from the hypnosis. Aladdin informs the king that Jafar wants the throne, so the king orders his immediate arrest. However, Jafar's clever parrot, who remained free and escaped, cunningly brings the key to the cell to Jafar. In the palace, the king apologizes to Aladdin for the earlier incident but doesn't question who he really is. Later, speaking alone with the genie, Aladdin apologizes, saying he can't grant the genie's wish of freedom since he needs the last wish to maintain his Prince Ali persona, which the people now recognize him as. The genie questions if Aladdin will never tell Jasmine the truth, but Aladdin's ego is swelling, and his humble character is fading. The genie says he doesn't care about the last wish, he's more concerned that Aladdin is lying to the person he loves. Aladdin, now changing, says that people like him won't do well if they don't lie. The genie tells him that in millennia, he's never called anyone a friend and says that Aladdin is changing into someone else before entering the lamp again. Walking through the city, Jafar manages to deceive Aladdin and steal from him without his notice. When he rubs the lamp, the genie emerges, surprised to see him because he now has a new master. Jafar then proceeds to the place that interests him. Arriving at the palace, the king sees Jafar, unaware of his newfound power, and orders the guards to arrest him. However, Jafar quickly summons the genie, surprising everyone, including Dahlia, who seems to recognize the genie as the servant of Prince Ali. For his first wish, Jafar asks to become the king of Agrabah, and with no choice, the genie obeys, granting his wish. At the same instant, Aladdin realizes the lamp is no longer with him. In the palace, the royal guard named Hakim, who owes allegiance only to the king, must now obey Jafar. For his first command, Jafar orders Hakim to invade Shirabad, the kingdom where Jasmine's mother was born. Jasmine tries to speak, but Jafar silences her with his magic. However, Jasmine turns to Hakim and reminds him of when he first came to the palace and became a trusted soldier. She says that duty is not always honor and that Jafar isn't worthy of his admiration and loyalty, as he only seeks glory for himself. Jasmine then mentions that all the guards obey only Hakim and asks if he will choose to stand with the people of Agrabah. Recognizing his mistake, he apologizes and returns to serving the princess and her true king. He decides to arrest Jafar, who, possessing the lamp and realizing he won't be served, summons the genie again, this time asking to transform him into the most powerful sorcerer. While Jafar makes all the guards and even the tiger disappear, Aladdin arrives and spots the lamp. The genie tells him not to attempt anything, but naively, he tries, and the sorcerer captures him. He then reveals Aladdin's true identity to everyone, that he isn't a prince, but rather Aladdin, and orders him and Abu to be sent to a hostile and icy place. The carpet calls the genie, who makes it disappear to do something else. Meanwhile, Jafar frightens the king by saying he would kill him and then marry his daughter. However, Jasmine, afraid of losing her father, agrees to marry Jafar if he stops the torture. In the meantime, Aladdin manages to find Abu, who was in a crevice among the ice, and they both slide down the icy slope. Aladdin falls unconscious from the fall, but luckily, the genie had sent the carpet to the same location and finds Aladdin, taking him away from there. In the palace, the wedding is taking place, and Jafar says yes. When it's Jasmine's turn, she looks sadly at the city and sees the carpet approaching them. Getting closer to Jafar, she manages to grab the lamp and jumps off the balcony, leaving everyone shocked. Fortunately, the carpet catches her, and they flee. The parrot quickly follows them, and the sorcerer transforms it into a massive monstrous bird to catch up with them. During the escape, they accidentally drop the lamp. Abu manages to retrieve it, but when Aladdin tries to reach it, the sorcerer grabs him and throws him, then flies away trying to take the lamp to Jafar. Jasmine's father distracts the sorcerer, causing his staff to fall, returning the bird to its normal form, and Abu defeats it, recovering the lamp. However, Jafar, infuriated, creates a storm and sucks them into it. The carpet tries to hold on but ends up torn apart. With their means of transport disabled, Aladdin and Jasmine are pulled towards Jafar. Now, with immense power and seeking revenge, he imprisons the king, Dahlia, and Jasmine in a time vortex where they witness Aladdin's fate. Jafar then claims to possess all the power. However, Aladdin, seeing that the genie cannot escape his servitude, starts talking to Jafar, saying that he won't find what he needs in the lamp. But Jafar insists he can do whatever he wants since he is now the king and the most powerful sorcerer in the world, ready to destroy entire cities and kingdoms at his whim. Aladdin states that he will never have such power, as there will always be someone greater than him, referring to the genie, and says that he only serves him for now. The genie becomes concerned with what Aladdin is saying, and Aladdin continues, telling Jafar that he was born to be second. The genie realizes what Aladdin is trying to do. Enraged by always being second despite his immense power, Jafar decides to make his final wish. He orders the genie to transform him into the most powerful being, even more powerful than the genie himself. Granting the wish, he begins transforming, releasing energy from his fingers and changing his legs into a smoke-like form. Believing himself to be the most powerful now, he announces his intention to enslave not only the people of Shirabad but to destroy them all. However, as he attempts to unleash a powerful energy ball to launch at the city, it is abruptly interrupted by a greater force that prevents him from doing what he desires. Shackles wrap around his wrists, rendering him incapable of acting on his wish. Enraged, he attempts to attack Aladdin, thinking that he caused this, but he cannot. Aladdin tells him that the genie may have cosmic powers but lives inside a small lamp, only emerging to serve his master, effectively imprisoning himself. A lamp then appears and traps Jafar, along with all the magic he had performed. The genie retrieves the lamp, telling Jafar that he just needs 1,000 years in the Cave of Wonders to become a better person and banishes him there, where he will live for millennia. Aladdin apologizes for everything Jasmine has endured and decides to leave. The genie repairs the carpet, leaving it as good as new, and suggests that Aladdin make his last wish, proposing that he become someone important, perhaps a warrior of peace, or if not, he could erase the law that prevents a commoner from being marry a princess. But Aladdin, after everything he's been through and experienced with the genie, the princess, the carpet and Abu, decides not to think about himself. He fulfills his last wish, to free the genie. In an instant, he is astonished to see the shackles on the genie's wrists release, and all the magic that bound him disappears, leaving the genie free to live a normal life. Now the genie, being an ordinary man, a life he always wished to return to, thanks Aladdin and then heads toward Dahlia, saying he wants to live with her and travel the world. She happily accepts but mentions she wants to have children, to which the genie happily agrees, saying just 2. She also mentions wanting a large boat with beautiful decorations, but he suggests a smaller one. Soon, we realize that the sailor telling the story was the genie, who managed to fulfill his wish and build a family with Dahlia. Meanwhile, the king tells Jasmine that she's ready and declares that she will be the next queen without the need for a king. As queen, she can change the law that prohibited royalty from marrying a commoner and affirms that Aladdin is a good man. The carpet alerts that Aladdin has left, and we see him exiting the palace with Abu, carrying the hairpin he took from Jasmine. However, she stops him and kisses him. The movie ends by showing us days later when Aladdin's engagement to Jasmine was formalized, followed by their marriage, and they lived happily ever after in a realm of peace and harmony.